Hi there, welcome. You're in good company today with myself, Bevan of Shout & Co, and that is none other than Pippa Lynch of Shout & Co.
Hi.
The OG founder and director. So, Pippa, today we wanted to kick off 2020 to talk to our community about the importance of the social vibes, digital, right? So, talk to us. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, so we thought we'd kick off with a podcast / video about doing your digital marketing right in 2020. Now, I know that a lot of people feel a lot of anxiety around digital marketing, especially the older set, because they haven't grown up with digital marketing being a core part of their lives and their worlds. And so there's a large chunk of the population that probably feels a little bit out of their depth when it comes to digital marketing. And so whether or not, if you feel like you're one of those people that you just don't have a grasp or a handle on digital marketing, you're going to want to pay attention. Even if you feel like you're one of those people that has a good grasp of digital marketing, you're going to want to pay attention. So really what we wanted to talk about today is just around how digital marketing is going to be a vital part of your overall business marketing strategy for 2020. We're going to talk about how marketing has shifted over the last few years, especially even just since we left uni 15 years ago.
That's right.
Why it's so important, and a little bit about planning as well. So this is a bit of a two-part episode. So the first one today is really just going to focus on general stuff within digital marketing, and then next week we're going to get really stuck into the types and the elements and how to make best use of them, and we've even got a really cool planning calendar that we'll be sharing with you as well. So that's basically today in a nutshell.
Okay, so you speak about, those growing up or not growing up with social media. What do you think are the, what word am I looking for? The barriers to entry for that set?
Well, the thing about digital marketing is that it's got a relatively low barrier to entry, which means that it's actually pretty easy for people to get digital marketing up and running for their businesses. They just really need a phone. There's not much more to it than that. And the great thing is that it's low barrier but high impact, especially for small to medium-sized enterprises who don't have huge budgets like the large retailers that you see all over TV and hear all over radio. So it's really the single most important tool to drive a business, especially if you're just starting out, if you're in the early phase of your growth trajectory. And it's all you really need is a phone and an internet connection.
So to draw the distinction between the then and the now, can you, in a nutshell, I'll give you 30 seconds to say what, say 5 to 10 years ago, what was traditional marketing? What did that look like?
5 to 10 years ago, it was billboards, it was TV, it was radio, it was magazines, it was newsletters and newspapers, it was coupons, flyers, brochures, all of that kind of thing, which we call above the line, below the line. And that is what we studied in traditional marketing at uni some 15 years ago. And since then, the marketing world has shifted dramatically to where it's almost a new industry in and of itself. And so we've shifted away from all of that traditional media, and now we're seeing everything is happening online. If you're not online, if you don't have a website, if you don't have Facebook, if you don't have a social media presence, your business is not going to do as well. That same statement could not be made about businesses 15 years ago who could literally just get in touch with the magazine and say, hey, I need to put an ad. I need to put an ad in you. So if you think about Instagram and Facebook, that's kind of taken over as the new version of the print medium. You open up a magazine and you see beautiful products, you see beautiful people. It's really all happening on Instagram now, on Pinterest, on Facebook. Twitter has kind of overtaken the good old newspapers and the news outlets and the radio, because you're getting all of your vital news and your latest information through Twitter, and it's all happening instantaneously. Netflix even has overtaken traditional TV because people don't have the time or they don't want to watch ads, and so they're willing to pay a very small fee to have Netflix. And you'll see a lot of people, I mean, even we don't even have traditional TV. We just watch the various streaming.
Just on that note, by the way, we had friends from another part of the world come and stay with us where Netflix and stuff isn't really readily available, and it was so interesting to see their behavior in terms of how they consume television. They were looking for set times to watch certain things, and we just said, no, we've got Netflix. So it was quite interesting to see how we've even changed our consuming consumption behavior. It's interesting. Now, Pippa, you've also got some stats. I'm just looking at them in front of me here. Can we share them with the listeners?
Yeah, so, I mean, if you're kind of on the fence about the importance of digital marketing and how big it is and how impactful it is, consider this, that social media and time spent on social media accounts for over a third of all time spent online. So that's taking into account people listening to music, people streaming stuff like us with Netflix, Apple TV, all that kind of thing. People are reading news articles, people are playing games. There's a whole bunch of things outside of social media that happen online, but social media itself accounts for over a third of all the time that people spend online, which is just huge. And when you think about the fact that 37% of shoppers say that social media is the thing that made them want to purchase a specific product or a specific service, we've got a lot to thank social media for, especially as business owners.
So I have a question on that, because I've come across a few individuals who see social media as a silver bullet, right? So, but I'll be honest with you, if I'm scrolling down Instagram and I see someone trying to sell me something, I literally shut down. I treat it as I would, say, an advert on traditional television. Like if I could fast forward, I would, just to skip the ads. So, look, social media is a big beast, because not only do you have to consider the platform for your business, but you've also got to say, well, how am I going to engage my community? What tone of voice? What sort of digital assets in terms of imagery do I need to have? What are your thoughts specifically on treating those platforms as a silver bullet, keeping in mind the fact that a lot of business owners want to see results and they want to see sales? So go, tell me what you think.
Yeah, so social media is not a silver bullet. It is one element in the whole big cog of your marketing strategy. You need to be on the ground marketing and networking yourself. And it totally comes down to, and what your marketing strategy is going to look like is totally going to come down to the industry that you're in, the type of products or services that you sell, where your customers are hanging out, and even like down to the demographic. All of that kind of stuff is going to impact on how effective your social media will be as part of your general marketing strategy. So we recommend playing social media and digital marketing for the long game. It's certainly
what
not.
Does that mean? So
it's not something that's going to happen for you overnight. You're not going to have that overnight success unless you go viral. But I don't know if people really want to go viral these days, because it completely takes the control that you have over that medium or that you have over that content out of your hands, and then it puts it into the public realm. And I just don't know if that's the right way to go. So those are my fears around viral. But it's not a silver bullet. It's not going to be the only thing that you should be focusing your time on, because there are still people behind these brands. There are still people that are buying these products and services, and you need to be connecting with them on a person-to-person basis.
So just to come back to sum up, because I know the business owner listening out there is thinking, but if I'm going to be investing in this medium, I need to see results. What do we say to that business owner? Like what do we say to them?
It's like I said, it's a long-term game. It's not something that can happen for you overnight, but it's also the beauty of playing the long-term game is that it gives you the opportunity to really figure out what's going to work for you and your clients and your customers. So if something's not working, don't chuck the towel in. Tweak it. Find a new, maybe your demographic is not completely correct. Maybe you need just to tweak your wording. Maybe you need to relook the imagery that you're putting out there. Maybe you just need to actually say, Instagram's not working for me. I'm just going to focus all of my time on Facebook and LinkedIn, because that's where I'm getting at least some of the results. And then you really just put all of your effort behind that.
So on that note, are all the platforms relevant for a business owner?
Not all platforms are created equal. And again, it totally comes down to the industry that you're in, the customers that you have, your target market, where they're hanging out, how old they are even is going to determine whether you're going to be on Facebook or Instagram. It comes down to a whole bunch of different things, which we can talk about next week as well. So, yeah. I lost my train of thought.
No, that's fine, because I want to bring it back to, you mentioned in the statistics here that I'm presuming you got from a credible source.
Oh, absolutely.
37% of shoppers say social media is to thank for their purchase.
Yeah.
Now, no, sorry, I don't want to speak to you. Sorry, I don't know how that happened. To thank for their purchase, which is just shy of, say, 40%. I want to link this to a really great sort of category that I think we operate in currently. So the traditional advertising agencies do above the line and below the line, and I cannot take credit for the statement, but the area that social media operates in is what they now call always on.
Yep.
And Gemma Fitzpatrick, if you're listening to this, you're the one who put me onto that phrase, always on media. So would you say that the always on aspect of social media can be tied back to that statistic of 37% of shoppers to thank? But they don't necessarily readily know where or when or how. Like they might have seen, say, an advert from, watched a documentary on Abercrombie and Fitch, say Abercrombie and Fitch came up on their feed, and then they kept on seeing Abercrombie, and then eventually bought something. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's definitely about consistency. It's also about providing customers with a spot to go to check you out, to do their research, to find out more about you before they take the plunge and buy from you. So in the case of an Abercrombie and Fitch, you might get someone who is on their daily commute and they're not thinking about buying something right now. But that person that's seeing that ad is the right demographic, and they'll see it again, because those ads generally come up a few times actually.
So there's ads, but then there's also organic content as well.
Yeah.
So would that?
And also, the more you look at a particular page, so if you're interested and you're engaged with the Abercrombie organic content, you will see their stuff come up on your newsfeed more than you would a brand that you follow but don't interact with on a regular basis. And it's really just about keeping in touch, staying on top of mind, to the point where eventually, when it comes down to, all right, I've got $50 that I'm willing to spend. I need a new pair of jeans. Where are you going to go? Abercrombie and Fitch, because it's their first thought.
Yeah.
So
there's
always on. But also, you're going to find people are going to be, breastfeeding at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to be scrolling.
I'm interested to know why you came up with that idea. But anyway.
No, it's just it's because it's always on. It's there at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's there at 10 o'clock in the morning when you're at work at your desk. It's there at 10 o'clock at night when you're checking social media before you go to bed. It is always on. So that's why I bring it up.
Above the line, below the line, always on.
Yes.
And so that's the area that we may not see a silver bullet, but maybe the silver bullet is the fact that it's always on.
It's always readily available. And it's also taking elements from above the line and below the line marketing and smashing it into one. So you've got the video, which you would get on TV, with the beautiful imagery that you might see in a magazine.
Yeah.
And it's smashing those two things together, and it's giving you one chunk of content that makes you say, I want to buy it. And you can see that content at any time. You don't have to just wait for your next magazine to come out. You don't have to wait till 8 o'clock when that TV show comes on. You can see it at any time.
Now I am conscious of time. I don't want to run over. Key takeaways for our discussion today.
Yeah, so if you don't know about digital marketing, if you're not sure if it's something that you need to be focusing on for your business, keep tuned into this podcast, because we're going to be taking you through the different elements of digital marketing. We're going to give you tips and insights and things that we've learned and things that we've researched and things that we've taken out of all of the work that we're doing, and saying, you don't really need to focus on that, but this is really where it's at. We also want you to start thinking about your digital marketing rather than making it something that you do when you've got 5 minutes. That it's something that you actually take the time to plan. And so we're going to be going through all of that kind of stuff, especially next week. Next week is going to be a really good one, especially because we've got a great planning tool that you can use to make your digital marketing hum. So if you don't know about digital marketing, if you're not sure if digital marketing is for you, just keep tuned in because we'll tell you all about it.
Cool. Well, we'll cut it there, and thank you for being in our good company. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Until next week. Yeah. Chat to you then. Bye bye. Bye bye.